Hey everyone, welcome to the 1804 show, chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is another episode of 1804 History. So it feels so good to be back. And before I start, hit like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, the 1804 show, chapter 2, and let's get it. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about a unfortunate incident and a evil act that happened back in 1985 to a man that's from Alabama by the name of Anthony Ray Hinton. And he was accused of armed robbery, kidnapping, and first-degree murder. And it's just sad that he was sentenced to death, sentenced to the electric chair. And he was an innocent man. And then when you just sit back and really think about these type of things and just think about how this court system, this judicial system do to us. And I just try to elaborate to people how slavery still exists. They just moved it. You know, they're not lynching us physically, but they're doing it psychologically. They're taking our lives away. They taking not only our fathers, but our sons, our cousins, our uncles, our nephews, and putting them in these type of prisons on crimes that they didn't commit. And I always try to tell everyone that the movie Life was really a very depressing movie. If you take away the comedy, if you take away the Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, if you take away all of that, it's a real depressing movie because that story happens every day. And how many people that's in behind bars knowing that they didn't commit these crimes. And 30 years for a crime that you didn't commit is hell. And I can't even imagine what this man went through. Just one Sunday afternoon, you at home cutting the grass, and you get two detectives that you haven't seen before approach you saying that you're under arrest for murder, kidnapping, and armed robbery. And you sitting there like, you got the wrong guy. That's not me. And don't even read your rights, but handcuff you and put you in a patrol car. And you have your mother screaming out, why my son in handcuffs? My mama. It's sorry, y'all. It's crazy. You know, this is really sad. It's really a sad story. But his mama was just like, why my son in handcuffs? He didn't do this. So he gets to the station. He's in the interrogation room. And you have these detectives just interrogating him. Pretty much it's like they know that he didn't do this, but they just picked the nigga. You know, they just picked a poor young black male. He was the age of 29 at this time. He was only 29 years old. And he was arrested for this. And they told him that you're going to be found guilty of these crimes. And I can give you 5 reasons. 1, you're black. 2, You're going to have an all-white jury. 3, you have an all-white prosecutor. And 4, I don't care if you shot the man or not, but we can convince the world that you did this. And then 5, you're going to have an all-white judge, and they're going to convict you. And when you really sit back and think about just all these people who got framed or who got wrongly convicted for crimes that they didn't commit, and I try to explain to everyone that when you look at the movie Life, it's real depressing. It is real sad. It's sick. It's unfair. Even though we laugh at the movie, but I think the movie really hits differently as you get older. You know, it all depends on what you watch the movie for the jokes, for the laughs, and this and that. But when you really look at Ray and Clark Gibson and how their lives got taken away, that's deep. And how everything evolved and how everything went on. You just never know what can happen. You know, one day you can wake up, you can have some major plans that day, and then all of a sudden, 2 police officers or 2 detectives, homicide detectives, could come and get you. Don't even have no evidence on you. Don't even have any type of clue to, they just want you to just take the fall because nobody wants to do their job. And when you have police officers like that, not saying that all cops are bad, I'm not saying that all white people are racist, but I'm saying that you had a man's life taken away because motherfuckers didn't want to do their job. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it a buck. Motherfuckers was lazy. Motherfuckers wanted to go home. They probably was looking over paperwork all night. So they just decided to just pick somebody and arrest them and get them on fake charges. And it just makes me mad. Just shit like this goes on in our communities, and we have people that rather be on bullshit all day. I would rather not go to jail. I don't want to be put in no position to commit a crime. I'm a law-abiding citizen, taxpayer, hardworking man. I don't have to steal. I don't have to kill. I don't have to do nothing to nobody. If I'm broke, I'm going to be broke by my goddamn self. But you have people who commit crimes and they get away with so much bullshit. They get away with so much. And it's just tiring when you the one that's trying to do the right things and you try to live as righteous as possible. And then you have people who commit crimes, they get all the support. They get all the free me's. They get all the rallying up. They get the protesters. They get the picket signs. They get everything. But you have to do it all alone. Do it all by yourself. But, sorry, I don't mean to go into a tangent. But it's just like, you know, how can you just do that to another human being? But just the fact that how they have no evidence, his fingerprints wasn't on the murder weapon or nothing like that. But it's just the fact that they was able to convict him just like that because of the fact that he was in a racist ass state, in a racist ass county, and they just wanted to sentence a person to die without any evidence, without any type of moral compass. And this is how things be. But people just be around here playing and shit like that, like it can't happen to them. Never think something can't happen to you. Never think that you the exception, because you're not. As long as you're a black man in America, you is not the exception. And he was devastated, because that's devastating. You know, you go from spending time with your mama on a Sunday, cutting the grass, being a good son, and then all of a sudden, you never to return again. 30 years is a long time, man. I can remember where I was at 30 years ago. I was a kid. I was going to school. I was a child 30 years ago. So just imagine I go from being 35 to 65. And that's just fucking scary. I can't even think that far ahead. But just the fact, like, not only that you get sentenced to prison, but you get sentenced to death row. And you are able to just sit in a cell. You probably get 1 hour for exercise, but you in a cell for 23 hours a day. And you scared. And you practically by yourself. And Alabama hot as hell. You know what I'm saying? Temperatures be up to like 100 degrees. Over 100 degrees sometimes. But yeah, it's terrifying knowing that your life can be stashed away in an instant and there's nothing you can do about it. But you have some people who's cops and CEOs and judges and stuff like that. They will not have no empathy for what they did. And just by watching this man's story and just by watching his interviews and stuff like that, he said that he's seen 54 people walk by a cell to get executed. And that was frightening. You know, I would have been frightened too. You know, I would have been scared as fuck. Because you pretty much living on edge every day, because any day they can decide whether you live or die. So, of course, you're going to be terrified. You're going to be paranoid. You know, you can't sleep. You can't eat. You know what I'm saying? And they expect you to conform and adapt to shit like that. You can't adapt. You a fucking ticking time bomb. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to look at things from a different lens at times, because my life ain't so bad. A lot of fucked up shit happened, but it ain't that bad. To the point that I'm mad at the world. I have a chip on my shoulder, whatever, blase, blase. But other than that, I have a good life. You know, I have my mama, my sister, her kids. I have friends. I have colleagues. I have associates. You know, I know who really in my circle, and I know who's in my corner, but definitely in my corner. So it was just tough. You know what I'm saying? He was just, you know, trying to take the good with the bad and try to look at things in the positive light, because he didn't want to be angry. He didn't want to be bitter for being placed in that situation. But sometimes God will put you, or God will just allow things to happen for you to save people. And he met a convicted murderer slash ex-Klansman by the name of Henry Hayes, who murdered 19-year-old Michael Donald in Mobile, Alabama. And he said that for the first 3 years in prison that he didn't speak, he didn't talk to anybody. So he woke up middle of the night, heard a grown man crying. So he was like, hey man, want me to get the guard for you? And so they began to have a conversation. And Henry told him who he was and what he did. And he said that my father was a Klansman. He's a Grand Wizard of the KKK, and he taught me how to hate throughout my whole life. And once he really started to talk to Anthony, and he began to have this epiphany that all Black people ain't bad, and how Black inmates showed him so much love. And he, I guess, converted himself to Christ, became a born-again Christian before his execution. And he said, all my life, I've been knowing hate, but now I can leave this world knowing love. And then he was executed later that night. So he said something that really got to me. He said that his mom come and visit him. She would ask him, when you coming home? And he would say, oh, they're working on it. My attorney's working on my appeal, and they're gonna give me a new trial. And he didn't know for sure, but he just said that to keep her from worrying about him. So, okay, sorry y'all. My connection went bad. Okay, what I was saying? Okay, well, he said that like when she died and everything, he said that he couldn't function, he couldn't believe it. He was hurt, he was devastated. So he had heard a voice in his ear, and he said it was his mom came to visit him, and she had told him, I didn't raise you to be a quitter. And he had made his mind up to talk to the attorney, Brian Stevenson, about fighting for his vindication and his exoneration. Even though it took 16 years for the Innocent Project to find Mr. Anthony Ray Hinton not guilty, but there was no apology. There was no compensation for his wrongful conviction. And pretty much it's just like he was an old man, because he got out when he was 59 years old. And he missed out on so much. But he didn't give up. He became a well-known author. He became an advocate on the wrongly convicted, and went on Good Morning America, talk shows and other media outlets to tell his story and became a community activist. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know how I would react if I got out of prison for a crime that I didn't commit. But hey, man, you know, I respect his decision. I respect him for not being so angry or bitter or vengeful. But I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't forgive people who took away my life. But that's me. You know what I'm saying? But I respect the man for sticking to his guns and never giving up and just having the courage to keep going when you wanted to die, when you wanted to just forfeit. But that's just me. I couldn't do it. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Everybody isn't quick to forgive. Even the people that did me wrong, people did me dirty. Excuse me. I forgive them, but I don't fuck with them no more. That's cool, you know what I'm saying? Because things will never be the same. But I just think that it's just insulting to ask a man who did a crime that, well, who didn't do a crime that they didn't commit and had spent 30 years of their life in prison, to ask a man and stay angry. That's insulting. That's pathetic. Like, don't ask me no shit like that. You know, what you expect? How would you feel? You know what I'm saying? I would be mad. I would feel like, man, you really trying to piss me off, you know, on some shit. But I just don't like when they expect us to forgive. I just don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard to forgive anybody. You know what I'm saying? I just do it from the kindness of my heart. It takes a minute. It takes a long time for me to just have any type of real forgiveness, because real forgiveness takes time. Forgiveness don't happen overnight. And then if you see somebody who's making an effort, who's putting in the work to make amends with you, then they deserve forgiveness. Now, if a person is asking for forgiveness but ain't putting in the work or ain't trying to make things right with you, they just talking shit. Fuck them. You know? But that's the end of the story, y'all. But I just look at that movie Life differently, and that happens every day. Even now it's happening. You could just be at the wrong place at the wrong time. No matter where you at, you can be at home and they will come and get you and arrest you for a crime that they didn't commit, you know, or you didn't commit. But they would just pick you because they don't feel like doing their job, and they would ruin your life. They would take away everything you worked for. So just really take the consideration to look at criminals and look at anybody that's in prison a lot differently, because half the prisoners there are innocent and half the people that's in prison did the shit. But not everybody's in prison is guilty. That's all I gotta say. And I'm out, y'all. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and make sure that you leave your thoughts in the comment section. And I just wanted to thank everybody who watched. I thank everybody who's tuning in. I thank everybody who's subscribing. I thank y'all for just looking out for me. and keeping me in your prayers. Even the ones that's praying on me. I appreciate y'all the most because y'all give me publicity. So other than that, I'm out, y'all. Have a good evening. Be safe. And God bless. Peace.